I'm always curious when people say, "Oh, this person's annoying," or "This person's really funny," or "This person's really likable," etc. I've always been fascinated with human traits, and like, for example, I've got a friend who is like the most affable person you'll ever meet. Like within, I don't know, 10 seconds of you meeting him for the first time, you'll just instantly like him. And I don't know what he does, and like I've been there in person, like introducing him to new friends, and by the end of the event or the party or whatever, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he was really cool." Like, and I've tried to study him. Like I was like, right, I'm going to introduce. This was like a couple of years ago. I was like, right, I'm going to introduce this guy to like 10 different people at this party, and I'm going to literally watch him word for word, what he says, what he does with his arms, his face, his smiling, whatever. And I was just trying to like, and he doesn't know this, by the way. I'm not even going to say his name because it's embarrassing. And literally, I studied him for about an hour. I didn't really leave his side, and I couldn't spot anything different. Like he was just, not. I don't know how he did it, but people end up loving him, and it's the same with annoying people as well. There are some people out there who are just naturally annoying, and I tried to analyze these people and go, right, what are they doing, which is freaking annoying, just so I can learn what not to do, learn what to do, etc. And yeah, I've been studying stuff like this for probably at least 4 years now, like on the side, very quietly, and I still don't have a clue. Humans are weird. A really good book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That really gave a good eyesight into people, as it were. But yeah. Anywho, so Martin, they're annoying because they object to planning. What are you trying to build? Like something massive? I don't know. Caroline just bought more crypto this morning. Nice one. So Martin's looking to a sewer connection to the shed across the road to allow waste from our laundry. Non-stop complaints and objections. 2 months to get agreement on sewer connection. Ugh. Yeah. Hey ho. Right. Yeah, it's 14:32. 2 minutes over. Let's crack on. Thanks everyone. That's Sam said, "Remind me not to stand next to you at a party." It's just I just find it fascinating. And I've known this guy, who's super affable, I've known him for probably about 8 years now, and I've been like silently studying him, and I still don't have a clue what he does, which makes people just like love him. It's annoying. It's annoying that he's so likable. Anywho, today we are going to talk about obsession and obsessive people and money. And I think this stemmed from a couple of questions from the other day, actually. I mean, all of these live sessions every day blur into the same thing, so I completely forget what I talk about. I have no idea what I spoke about yesterday. So I sort of like just let my mind go and just let my mouth wobble and breathe air out of it. So, but I think I must have talked about obsession or being obsessive, like in a video game or something like that. And I had a negative question and I guess a positive question. So I thought I'd address that. Because the way I see things, again, like I obsess, I study everything basically, anything that I find interesting, or to me at least. And people have a negative connotation with money, and especially obsession. People think having the trait of being an obsessive person is a bad thing. And I was actually some YouTube video just popped up, and it was about Eminem. I'm going to actually play it. It's only 2 minutes long, and this video made me think about obsession a bit more. So let's just have a quick listen to this, and I'll give my 2 cents after it. Hopefully you can hear it.
I've heard you say that you bend the word. Yeah, it's just in the enunciation of it. Like people say that the word orange doesn't rhyme with anything, and that kind of pisses me off because I can think of a lot of things that rhyme with orange.
What rhymes with orange?
If you're taking the word at face value and you just say orange, nothing is going to rhyme with it exactly. If you enunciate it and you make it like more than one syllable, orange, you could say like I put my orange 4-inch door hinge in storage and ate porridge with George. You just have to figure out the science to breaking down words and try to...
And do you think about this throughout the day? When you're driving along, you think about rhyming words?
Yeah, all day. I actually drive myself insane with it.
But I heard that you used to read the dictionary.
I just felt like I want to be able to have all these words at my disposal in my vocabulary at all times, whenever I need to pull them out. You know, somewhere they'll be stored, like locked away.
His words are stored, but they're not exactly locked away. He actually keeps them in boxes.
You store stuff in just boxes like this?
Yes.
Inside are hundreds of scraps of paper on which he's obsessively scrawled down words and phrases.
So, wait, this is a pad from a hotel in Paris, looks like.
Yeah.
And you just scribbled that. You have 4 little words just scribbled there. How do you even read this? This is
I know what it says, I guess. I don't know that. I might use that, actually.
They're not lyrics, really. They're just ideas that he collects. He calls it stacking ammo.
So it's just like when I
I've
feel
gotten
this
letters
up.
from crazy people, and they kind of look like this.
Yeah?
Sometimes, yeah. Either all in capital letters or sort of scrawled on pages like this.
Yeah, well, that's probably because I'm crazy. I didn't just invent saying offensive things.
Yeah, I'm just going to replay the key bit here, which really pissed me off. Just listen to this bit again.
He calls it stacking ammo.
So it's just like when I
I've gotten
feel this
letters
up.
from crazy people, and they kind of look like this.
Yeah?
Sometimes, yeah. Either all in capital letters or sort of scrawled on.
What a douche. And so basically this interviewer, like, did you hear that? He goes, oh, I know some crazy people and they look like you. And that is the average person's reaction to an obsessive person. They see someone's obsession or compulsion into stuff as a weakness, a craziness, a flaw in their character. When in fact, obsession, again, all of this is in my opinion. It's my live session today, so I can share my opinion. It's actually someone's biggest strength. Everything good in this planet, everything that you've ever loved or enjoyed has originated from someone that has been insanely obsessed. Your favorite artist, your favorite music, like as in whether it be drawing type artist or singing artist, your favorite sport idol, game, your favorite business idol, celebrity, your favorite of anything. Everything has come from an obsessive person. If you love Eminem and all his music, well, guess what? He's an obsessed person. He's obsessing about words, and you can see that box. It's literally years worth of scrolling down lyrics and stuff like that. And so, I don't know. I always talk about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, he is the fastest person on the planet. Do you think he's a little bit obsessed? Hell yeah. He's been obsessed with running as fast as he can all of his life. What do we all love? Elon. Okay, not all of us. I love Elon. Like, he is obsessed with loads of different things. So, what I've personally found, in fact, so everything good or anything that you like or love in this planet has actually come from an obsessed person. So I think we all need to sort of rewire our thinking about obsessed people, because and again, this is just from my personal observation, non-obsessed people tend to achieve not much, which is absolutely fine. You don't have to be someone that achieves loads. That's absolutely fine. But if you really want to achieve something or improve on something or do something meaningful, you really do need to become a little bit obsessed. Like, absolutely. And it could be anything. It could be from improving your crochet to improving with your Facebook marketing or business, or I'm looking at Cat here, horse riding, whatever. Like, if there's anything in your life right now which you are deficient in or lacking, well, you need to apply a bit of obsession to it. And I'm obsessed about everything I do. Like, absolutely everything. Some of you probably heard this already. I've got a big golf bet on this year, and I'm shit at golf. Well, guess what? I'm now not shit at golf. I've done a bit more accurate calculations. Since January, I've done 14,000 chips. Literally 14,000 chips in the garden. Because my chipping was shit. I would be like 15 foot from the green, and I would thin it 50 feet past the green. Like, that was me. Like, and so now I approach I can approach the ball, like, yeah, with extreme confidence, to the point where I've got videos, I'm not going to share them because they look silly, of me like parking like the Tesla and just doing loads of flop shots over the Tesla onto the grass. Just, like, it was all part of a WhatsApp group and a bit of a dare, but like, there's no fear. And why? It's because I've become a little bit obsessed about golf and obsessed with my swing. I've completely changed my swing since January. So am I going to win this golf bet? There's no denying. I will 100% destroy my friend in this golf bet. And I won't have any qualms in taking his £1,000. It's a £1,000 bet, by the way. And he knows this. He knows I'm obsessed, and so bring it. So that's that. Like, and it could be like, and I'm talking about really inconsequential things. Like, there's a computer game at the moment that I'm playing a lot every night, Age of Empires 2, and I'm obsessing about that. Like, to the point where what I'm now doing in any spare bit of time is I'm watching YouTube videos of the world's best Age of Empires player and watching him in slow motion. That's how sad I am. Because I want to see what he's clicking, when he's clicking, what he's building, what he's attacking, and when and why. And then when you break things down, then yeah. But then let's bring this into more important things. I'm obsessed with business. I'm obsessed with, all sorts of other stuff. I know people think, Siam's gone a bit quiet on the schooling thing. I'm not. I am obsessed with creating a new school for my kids. So you just got to be obsessed. Please, the next time you see someone sort of like sticking their nose up at someone who's obsessed, try and educate them. Everything that person loves in life came from an obsessed person. So now we need to sort of tie this in with money. And money and obsession, they're very close, to be fair. Also, in my opinion, everything good in this planet came from money. So this is the weird thing. People are, I'd rather be happy than rich. They're not mutually exclusive. They're not inversely correlated. They're neither. They're two separate things. Money is an inanimate object, and if you have a negative like mindset about money, well, that's on you. That's like having like a negative mindset on a freaking chair. Oh, I hate chairs. Well, money and chairs are no different. And so those people that go around saying, I'd rather be rich and I'm happy than rich and all that sort of stuff, well, they've probably adopted that from, their peer group and their parents and stuff like that. But it's on them. Money isn't bad. It's simply an amplifier of oneself. And I say this all the time. Like, money will simply amplify your inner douchebag or your inner Gandhi. So if you're a really nice person and you suddenly become a millionaire or billionaire, guess what? You're going to do a lot of good things. I genuinely believe Elon Musk is benevolent. I know a lot of people think he's like a secret evil henchman, but or mastermind, etc. But I genuinely think he's benevolent. And guess what? He has access to resources and talent. And guess what? He's deploying and allocating that capital and talent into doing some freaking awesome things. Whereas there are other rich billionaires on the planet, which I would argue are truly sinister and doing not good things with their money. So money is just an inanimate object. And so people that have a negative affinity with money, you just have to view them like that, like a data point in a data point in a data set. It's just one person that has negative opinion on money because maybe they've had a bad experience, or maybe they've never had money throughout their lives and always struggled, and so they've always seen money as the object, and it wasn't. If someone again, I'm being pretty brutal here, and apologies if this offends anyone, but this is just when I see things. So if you draw a line in the sand right now and you go, right, I'm not happy with my financial situation right now, and I'm going to actively be obsessed about money, and I'm going to change my position, so hopefully this time in 10 years time, it doesn't make sense, this month in 10 years time, I would like to at least quadrupled my income or tripled it, 10x. I don't care, whatever target you want. Now, in 10 years' time, if you're still in the same financial situation, that's all on you. That is all your fault. And the reason you haven't improved your financial situation over a decade, which like you could take someone with like the worst skills and worst energy levels, the worst whatever, and as long as they do the right things and they learn the correct knowledge, like within 10 years you can dramatically change your life. So if you're still in the same situation in 5 years or 10 years, it's you that's not doing the right things in the right order, and therefore you then have a skill deficiency and or a knowledge deficiency. And so your first port of call is to always identify your knowledge and skill deficiencies. If you want to get better at something, you've got to work out where you are right now, compare yourself to where you want to be or who is at a level where you want to be, and go, right, what does this person do, know, or say that I don't, if that makes sense. And you've got to apply that crazy obsession mentality to everything you do, whether it's golf, Age of Empires, or building new schools, whatever it may be. So I guess that's my little rant, and I would very much like to hear your thoughts. Like, does anyone here massively disagree with that? Does anyone agree? Does anyone have anything they want to share? Please unmute yourself, pipe up if like. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I have actually pissed people off before when I've said obsessed people are good, and people that are really good at money, they're not necessarily bad, but yeah, they're not mutually exclusive or inversely correlated. Money and happiness and obsession and whatever. Any thoughts, anyone? No? Okay. Well, we'll call it a day there. No. So, yeah, that's I guess just my little 2 cents. Let's see what people said in the chat box. Okay, no new stuff in the chat box. So, Martin, okay, so any questions on obsession and money before we change the subject? Because I've got a side tangent sort of question here. So, Jamie says, I'm obsessed, but lots of planning and not enough action. Okay, that's good. At least you identify that you're doing too much planning. So I know yesterday, in fact now I remember what I said yesterday. Yesterday I said that I used to do loads of planning and now I don't do that much planning and I get more done. But there is a fine balance, like there is that seesaw with everything, of too little, too much planning. And the way I sort of look at it is try and spend at least the same amount of time in percentage terms to planning your life as you do with buying a new car or planning a holiday. Okay, so let's take a new car, for example. I think we've all been in a situation where we've wanted to buy a new car. What do you go and do? You go and research, you Google around, you look at some review articles, and then once you sort of finally settled on what car you want to get and what colour, what spec, what do? You go to Auto Trader, you scope out the car, and how many hours do you spend researching your next car, going to do it, travelling to test drive it and all that sort of stuff, and then actually paying and getting that new car on your driveway? Hours. Would you say an average rule of thumb would be, I don't know, 3 hours? I don't know, or 5 hours. In fact, maybe a better example would be a 1 week holiday abroad. Let's say you want to go to Shagaloof or I don't know, wherever. A 1 week holiday abroad. How much time do you spend planning that 1 week holiday? So you're probably looking at the airport car parking, the flights, the transfers, the hotel, what you're going to do when you're in the other country, all that. That's probably at least 5 hours planning, right? And you probably spread that 5 hours planning over a week or two, or in the preceding months. Well, what is 5 hours planning as a percentage of a 7-day holiday? Well, let's just work that out. So 7 days times 24, that's 168 hours. So 5 divided by 168 hours times 100, that gives you 2.97%. So you spent, let's round it up to 3%. So you spent roughly 3% of your 7-day holiday planning it. Well, what is 3% of your year? Okay, so 3% of year, so 365 times 0.03, 10.95 days. Let's round that up to 11 days. So I would say a reasonable amount of time of planning your year would be 11 days. Call it 2 weeks. And guess what? That's what I do. at the end of every year, not in January because it's too late. You need to be hitting the ground running in January. I spend towards the end of November, December time when things are sort of rounding up and people aren't really working, they're pretending to work because it's Christmas and whatever. So towards the end of the year, I spend about 2 weeks planning the next year. And guess what? That's all I do. I spend 3% of my year planning. So in my opinion, I think that's pretty damn reasonable in terms of not over planning, not under planning. During those 10, 11 days or 2 weeks of planning, I'm writing out lots of lists, my 100 things to do, over the next 3 months or whatever. And so if you're then spending, 3 months planning your year, nah. So that's that. And don't forget, part of that 2 weeks of planning, yes, I'm planning my next year, but I'll probably spend, half a day going, right, where am I now according to the big line that I want to get to? So if I'm going to get my doodle pad out here and start sharing my screen. Come on. I should be way more slick than this by now, but I'm not because I'm special in a non-slick way. Okay, let's get a new whiteboard. Click new whiteboard. Righty-tighty. I think this is probably a good idea to talk about congruent actions as well, in a different way, in a different light that you've probably not heard from me before. So let's say you're here right now and your goal is to get up here, whatever that may be. Okay. Now, obviously, when you look at science, the most efficient way forward, or the most efficient way to get to that goal is the straight line path. Obviously. Conservation of energy, time, etc. It's always the straight line path. But what happens in life is you go, right, yes, I'm going towards this, and then a hiccup occurs, and you're like, shit, okay. So a hurdle, hiccup, whatever, and you're like, oh, right, okay, it's put me off track, and you probably try and get back on track, and maybe what happens is you overshoot it. Maybe you go full whack the other way. And a good example of this is me with like productivity sometimes. Sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, I really can't be asked to do any work. I work hard anyway, so I'm going to treat myself. This week, I'm just not going to do any work. And I'm just going to do all the things I want to do. I want to go play computer games. I'm going to take the dog for much longer walks. Poor Pips. And then guess what? I spend a week of being an absolute lazy slob. And then at the end of that week, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so far behind. I've been too much of a slob. And then I go, right, I'm going to beast it. I'm going to absolutely beast it. And I work 15 hours a day or whatever. And I go the other way to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually burned out now. I literally can't think. Every day, I've got like this massive fog over my head. I can't think clearly. And then it's to the point where I've worked so hard, I've overexhausted myself to the point I'm completely ineffective from a productivity point of view. And at this point, you're not going back to the center because you're fatigued and stressed out or whatever. You then start drifting, even though you want to get back. You then start drifting away, and then eventually you need to take a bit of rest, and then you can get back onto the curve. So this is why, like a lot of people, they may have a 1 year goal, and they'll hit that 1 year goal probably 18 months later, 2 years or 3 years later, because people always underestimate or overestimate what they can do in a year, massively underestimate what they can do in 5 years. And so whenever I'm planning my year, I'm also looking at my 10-year play. So it could be I could be 5 years in, and I go, right, where am I according to my my 5 year my 10-year goal, and I go, oh my god, what am I doing all the way out here? I've spent all these years and I can't really and sometimes you may just go off track and you don't even know it, because at the time you always make decisions which you think at the time are the best foot forward, best thing to do, but sometimes hindsight leads you to wake up and go, oh my god, you're an idiot. And then so I do a bit of course correcting when I'm planning my year. And so this is why I guess the compounding of habits is also very important. So I call it green line and red line thinking. So if you look at this and you draw, so this black line over here is neutral. Sorry, I'm just going to mute everyone. There's background noise here. Right, so that's neutral. So basically, what bad habits do I have? Oh, I got loads. Let's look at health. I always use that because it's easy, because I'm just horrendous. So at the moment, well, not at the moment, for a long time, every night I have at least, when I'm sitting down to watch Netflix with Ellie or whatever, I will always sit down with at least 2 packets of crisps, a bunch of chocolate. It's pretty much at least half or a full Easter egg per night at the moment. The amount of Easter eggs I've absolutely destroyed, I'm freaking mass genocide of Easter eggs at the moment. Any Easter egg that enters this house is destroyed within minutes. But yeah, so I have ice cream as well every night pretty much. And so when you look at red line thinking or actions, what's happening is that I'm not going to see the effects of this binge eating anytime soon. But what happens is I'm on this slippery curve, and results are exponential. Results nearly are. So So I'm going to write this down here. The aggregate compounding effect of habits is exponential. Now, if I had a bit longer to think about that, I could probably come up with a better way to term that. But yeah, the aggregated compounding effect of habits is exponential. And so, yeah, my bad eating habits are not going to affect me now, probably not next year or whatever, but probably, I'm 35, but by the time I'm 40, I will start to grow a little pot belly. I'm Asian, so I won't get fat, I'll just get a pot belly. Everything else will be thin. Especially Thai men. If you ever go to Thailand, you won't see a fat Thai man. And if you do ever see a fat Thai person, a Thai male, what will happen is that they have a big pot belly. So if you look at them front on, they're actually really thin. So it's like they look like this when you look at them front on. Oh dear. But then if you look at the side view, they look like this. It's weird how Asian, yeah. So that's what will probably happen to me when I'm 40. I'll just have to make sure I'm standing front ways on whenever I meet people. So anyway, that's a weird tangent. So yeah, aggregated compounding effect of habits is exponential, and so bad ones will always, exponent the other way. And then guess what good habits do? It's the same thing. And so if you're experiencing success in your business right now, it's nothing because of what you've done this year or maybe even last year. It's all of the groundwork that you've put in the last 5 years. It's all of the audiobooks that you've listened to. It's all of the stuff, the activities you've done over the last 5 years. That is what which is putting you in a good position right now. So I've got relative successes in various different parts of my life, and I owe all of that to the previous 10 years of hustle and grind that I've done. Hustle and grinding. Grinding sounds sexual. No, hustle. I just use hustle. So yeah, you just got to be aware of this. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Right, I'm going to stop talking and let's see what the chat box is saying. Alexander said, I'm so obsessed with my business that every single conversation ends up with me talking about it. People avoid me already, but I like it. Yeah, I used to be like that as well. And I then started losing friends. I know exactly what you did, where you are, Alexander. I think for the first 7 years of my business career, it's not a career, it's a lifestyle. My business lifestyle. I was the same as you, Alexander. Like, I would always end up talking about business, and then people, oh, for God's sake, Siam's just going to talk about business. To the point where my friends, if we were like in a social environment and anyone said anything like money related, markets related, economics, or business, they'll be like, no! And then my ears would prick up and go, interest rates? What? And then it's like end of conversation. Everyone get bored. So yeah, let's have a look at where's the Zoom chat box gone? It always disappears for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's behind this. No, it's not that. No, I've completely lost the Zoom chat box. Here it is. So, where are we? Here we go. So, hopefully, that was a big tangent from your question, Jamie. Hopefully, the planning thing helps. So, Alex says, Siam, how do you deal with blowback from friends and family for when you become obsessed with a goal? Well, if all your good friends and family, people that really know you, they will know what you're striving for, and they should, have your back. They really should. And those that don't, you then know that they're not your real friends. The amount of friends, or so-called friends and family, or so-called friends I've had, which I've fired from my life, has been vast. I'd like to say, pretty popular by the time I was 25. I had loads of friends. Now I'm 35. I don't have many friends. However, the friends I have, I genuinely like spending time with them, and yeah, they're solid. To the point where, like, my best mate is a guy called Paul Drake. Duck. I went to school with him. He's the best man at my wedding. I could not talk to him for a year. Hell, I could not talk to him for 5 years. And then we could meet, and within 30 seconds, it would be like normal. I'd be like, hey, mate, whatever. And like, we don't have to, like, we're that good friends. And all of you will probably have a friend like that, where you don't need to go through the bullshit small talk. Hey, mate, long time no see. What have you been up to? And like we can just skip all that. Just, because we're like brothers. And so, so I wouldn't worry. If your friends are like giving you hassle for you being obsessed with a goal or business or trading, whatever you're doing, that is that you're obsessed with. Well, it's all on them. How they're treating you is just a projection on how they're viewing you. It's nothing to do with you. Whatever they think is none of your responsibility. It's all theirs. However, it's easier said than done. I wear my heart on a sleeve, and it does hurt when I see trolls attacking me, and I do. Every time I run some Facebook ads, I get like a stream of abuse. I actually turned on a whole bunch of ads last night. Looked on it this morning, there was like 20 odd comments of like, oh, Siam is going to lose all your money, avoid him like oh god, go away. So Mel says, much the same plan, but now tend to act on plans soon after. Yeah, it's good. More time applying action, more than planning. Yep, I totally get that. Totally agree. So let's move on to the next thing. So Martin had a question. Which Martin is it? Is it Barnes? With this question here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm moving on. So it says, Siam, I listened to some of your presentations on CPL, CPA. I really enjoyed it. I formed the opinion that if my product is cheap, for example, €5 a month, then I may have problems with CPA. Yes, you 100% will. Because the ads price, customer reach, is the same as for the product for €30 a month. Is it true? Thank you. So obviously I don't know your product or service, but if you're selling something which is a residual income stream of some sort, so you're selling a subscription plan or a payment plan, and let's say it's €5 a month, the minimum starting place when I'm sort of looking at my ads is that it's probably at least 3 times your yearly revenue. So if you're charging €5 a month, that's €60. 60 times 3 is 180. So that's your pessimistic starting point. It's going to cost you roughly €180 to get your €5 a month customer. And then that's sort of the worst case scenario. So when you're doing your planning, just bear in mind that. And I've said for ages, like, to acquire a new WAP trialer, so to get someone to do the WAP trial, the 30-day free trial, it's costing me, or at one point it was costing several £100s. Well, I've got it down, but now it's costing me anything between £30 to £60 per trialer. In fact, I can show you. We're running ads right now, so I'm just going to share my screen. Let's open up Ads Manager. So I literally turned this campaign on last night for the WAP. Here we go, WAP campaign. I haven't spent much because it's barely been running. So I've only spent 200 quid. So this is actually quite cheap for me. So from this advert, it's got 7 new trialers. But here's the thing. This is not a true picture, to be fair, because what's happened is that when you run adverts to anything, one of your landing pages or your website or whatever it is, you'll naturally get organic traffic as well. So some people may be viewing, stuff, and they'll see an advert, they won't click the advert, but then later on they'll probably open up your website, etc. And then guess what? You'll get organic leads. So I'm just going to check my inbox. So I've got my little dashboard over here. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a little screenshot. I'm not going to move my whole thing because data protection and all that sort of stuff. But here's my little screenshot from my Outlook. So as you can see here, so since last night when I turned the ads on, and I turned the ads on like, 11 o'clock at night or whatever. So I've got 13 new WAP trialers, but Facebook is only showing 7. And that's because you just always get an organic uplift whenever you run ads. So when you're doing the calculation, so for me, so far, I've spent £202.92p. I then divide it by the real number, so 13. Sorry, what have I done that wrong? 202.92, divide that by 13. 1560. So actually, this is I'm going to jinx it now, but this is the cheapest I've ever got it for the WAP. I'm now basically acquiring a new WAP trialer for £15.61. I've never ever got it that low. If you look down here, in fact, if we go to lifetime and look at the results here, so let's look for the WAP trialer. So for example, this one here, 10 WAP WAPers, I averaged £73 to get a free trialer. 24 WAPers, as in trialers here, I was averaging £57 to get a free trialer. 116 free trialers here, 40 quid a pop. Look at this one. This was 18th of January 2021. One WAP trialer cost me £447. Horrendous. And I actually know the name of that person because I saw it coming in. So this person, I'm like, you better become a WAPper and you better stay with me for 10 years. So I make my money back on that. So 13, yeah, look, 13 WAPers, 116. So as you can see, as I'm progressing, as I'm constantly split testing my ad spend and my campaigns, my CPL, my cost per lead, is getting lower and lower. I mean, look, if you scroll down to October, I was spending, look at this, I've got 2 WAP trialers, £369 a pop, 152, 116, like 199, £326, like 406, like, yeah, I can go on, but I used to spend between, at least a couple £100 to get just a free trialer. And that's just a free trialer. There's no guarantee that person will become an actual WAPper, as in £300 a year person. So yeah, going back to your question, let's stop the share there. Your question was, yeah, so that's the reason when you're planning stuff out, you need a profitable back end. Because if you're doing something like anything between sort of £5 to £20 per month type product, you're going to lose money in the front end. So when you're doing ads, you're going to lose money by getting these people here, and so this is why you need something chunky at the end, like at least, really these days, at least £3,000. Because don't forget, like, I'm assuming you'll end up VAT registered. So even if you make a £3,000 sale, well, there's a lot you don't do that. You don't get that, obviously, because £3,000, divide that by 1.2. So after VAT, you're left with 2,500. Whoopsie, I can't type. Well, then what costs do you have with that sale? I don't know if it's a product. I mean, it's even worse. If you're selling a physical thing, let's say you're selling a piece of machinery or equipment for £3,000 or 2.5 plus VAT. What is the cost of that machinery? I don't know, it's probably going to cost you £1,000. All of a sudden, you're now left with £1,500. So, and then I don't know what other cost. So, yeah, this is why I don't have too many equipment-based businesses or physical product-type businesses, because it just eats into the margin. And whereas service-based businesses, like, if someone's paying, like if you have someone that's paying you £30 per month, in fact, like the WAP is either £30 a month or £300 a year. After the VAT, what is that? £25? Must be £25. Yeah, that means I'm left with £25 after the VAT. We then also send out books and all that sort of stuff, and so we know there's roughly £5 costs. So in terms of gross profit, so the cost, like the books, that's what's called COGS, costs of goods sold. We don't have any salespeople for the WAP or anything, so there's no other sort of COGS there. So you're then left with £20 profit per month per new WAPper. But that's gross, don't forget, that's gross profit. You then have to minus your OPEX, your operational expenditure, the running, your average monthly outgoings, and then you're not left with much. And so eventually you'll figure out what your break-even threshold is. So let's just say, I'm going to make numbers. These are not my numbers. I'm just going to make some numbers up. Let's say your business outgoings are £5,000 a month. Let's say you've got a couple of members of staff and very light outgoings. £5,000 a month. Well, if you're making £20 gross profit per I don't know, WAPper or whatever, well, what is the maths? You do 5,000, divide that by 20, 250. So in this case, you need 250 clients to break even. Or sorry, not that, to break even every month. Now, the way I've said that is actually somewhat had a negative sort of connotation with that. It's not negative at all. This flipping fantastic. So this is basic. So if you had so let's ignore the WAP. Just say, let's say your business does something where you make £20 gross profit per client, and your outgoings are £5,000 a month. This 250 number is actually when your business becomes financially independent. So this is something different. I'm going off on a massive tangent here, and I'm going to have to reel myself back. But guess what? People, you yourself, everyone is always obsessed with becoming financially free or financially independent, etc. But then they don't give a shit about their business. And they screw over their business, they bleed it dry, and they take out every penny. But you are a legal entity, okay? You are an entity, and your business is an entity as well. Well, surely it makes prudent sense to be financially independent with yourself personally, yay, and for your business to also be financially independent. So at the beginning of every month, on the first of every month, all bills are paid for, and everything else is pure profit. Well, yeah. Always look at things with the first principles point of view. And so in this case, so yes, I said, you need 250 clients to break even. Well, no, you need 250 clients, and then your business is financially independent. And then any client after 250 is pure profit. So to put things into more context, and then I'm going to stop with the metrics, the biz metrics, because I'm probably going to lose some people here. Let's put it this way. Whenever I set up a new business, one of my metrics that I try and work out before I even, set up the business, I try and work out what is my business, what is your biz financial independent, or you can just call it your break-even point, in terms of clients. So in this case, that previous example is 250. Cool. Then you do some ballpark maths to figure out, okay, what is your CPA? What is your cost per acquisition? And then in this case, I don't know, let's say if it's 30 quid a month, I don't know, let's say it's costing you, I don't know, 100 quid. No, let's say it's 30 quid a month, 360. Yeah, I don't know, let's just say it's 200 quid CPA. Well, this is the number, this is what I do. So you do 200 times 250, sweet, 50 grand. So you need an ad spend of 50 grand to hit break even or financial independence for your business. But as I spoke, I think, was it yesterday or the day before, I talked about your ad velocity. I'm not going to go into that today, but please watch previous video. In fact, I had a few questions on how to find them. So if you can't find all these recordings, just go to Siam Kid on YouTube, click on my YouTube channel, and look at my pitiful subscriber list numbers. I have not gamed the YouTube subscriber algorithm at all, because I talk about everything. Whereas, yeah, here's another tangent. If you really want to game your YouTube channel and get subscribers, you got to talk about one thing and post regularly on that one thing. Don't talk about everything, which is what I do. Yeah, so go to playlists, and then if you go to Wealth Generation Social Chats, all 1400, all of the recordings are here, and the most recent ones are at the bottom. So, yeah, I think I talk about ad velocity, but basically, long story short, if you've got an ad velocity typically of a quarter, so you put £1 in, and 3 months later you get that £1 back. Well, when you get that pound back, you then plop it into the marketing machine again, and then you get it back in 3 months. So what that means is, with a quarterly lag, you can use that £1 4 times throughout the year, which actually means if you actually need 50 grand to get your 250, well, you don't. It's 50 grand divided by 4. So really, you just need a marketing budget of 12.5 grand, and you just recycle that 4 times throughout the year. Boom, you got your 250. So business is just numbers at the end of the day. And guess what? I've been anally obsessed about business and business metrics and stuff. And when you are like that, and you think, and you think from first principles point of view, business isn't as complicated as it needs to be, or as people perceive it to be. Holy shit, was I not? Am I sharing the screen or not? Oh my god, all that time I wasn't sharing the screen. So you haven't seen any of these doodles? Jesus Christ. Oh man, so I'm surprised you're not asleep, because I've been just talking about numbers. I was doodling on them, and yeah. So, wait a minute. Did you see my aggregated compound effect of habits is exponential chart? Cool. Thanks for the the nodding heads. That helps. Okay. So all I was basically doing is working out all these numbers. 30 quid minus the VAT, 25 quid minus some costs and blah blah blah, 20 quid. 5 grand. Yeah. So this is just what I was doodling. Sorry, folks. What an idiot. Righty-tighty. Oh, shit. It's not half an hour. How long? 50 minutes. Damn it. Well, let's call that a day. Let's have a little look for any other questions on the Facebook. Nope. What about in the chat box? Chat box. Oh wow, you guys were saying you weren't seeing anything. I just didn't see the chat box. Apologies. I'm gonna have to be more alert to that in future. Mike Easton, I joined the WAP free trial last night. Hey, thanks, mate. Thank you. You probably cost me 40 quid. Joking. I love it. Honestly, I want as many WAPers as possible. And that's why the reason I know that I'm happy to spend 40 quid to get a WAP trialer. I'm still sharing the screen. Yes, I am. The reason I'm happy to spend 40 to 60 quid to get a free trialer is because I know at the moment we're averaging, for a long time it's 54%, but now it's 40%. It's dropping. Yeah, so 40% of trialers become full-time WAPers, which is cool. So what this means is, let's say I get 100 new trialers, and let's use the top end. So that's going to cost me 6 grand to get me 100 trialers. 40 of them will then become members. Now and then it's 50-50. So 20 will do £30 a month times 12. So what is that? 30 times 12, that's 360. So that's 360 times 20. So then that's 7,200, and then half of them will pay £300 for a year membership. So 300 times 20, that's 6 grand. Obviously, this is with VAT. So what is that in total? Plus, I'm really bad at public maths. 13,200. So what this means, in a nutshell, 6 grand in ads turns into, even with it sounds horrendous paying 60 quid for a free trialer, but I don't mind because the maths works. Because look, 6 grand then turns into 13,200, but minus the VAT. So you then divide 13,200, divide that by 1.2. That equals 11 grand. Minus, I should have done it the other way around. I think ballpark, let's take off 2 grand in costs. But yeah, I'm being massively over pessimistic here. But yeah, long story short, in this example, 6 grand of ads turns into 9 grand of ad spend. 9 grand in gross profit over the period of a year. So why wouldn't I just put as much money as I can in Facebook? Which is why currently across all the different ads, I'm spending about £1,500 a day at the moment, which isn't that big on the grand scheme of things. I know there are marketing agencies out there that do tens of thousands of pounds per day or whatever, but it's not their money. When it's your own money, it's a lot different. Righty tighty. So I thought that was the end. No, it wasn't. Got more questions. Here we go. Jamie, you saw the comments. Yeah, I know, idiots. Cool, Mike. I really hope you enjoy the free trial. There's loads of videos there. Make sure you watch all of them. So sorry if I wasn't sharing my screen. So Jamie said, all we really need is an ad budget then to get going with the business. Sort of. I mean, you can actually start testing out your campaign by spending, £10 a day. That's pretty much the minimum. It's going to take you a long time to get the data that you need, though. So that's one of the other reasons I like spending chunky-ish amounts per day. £100, £200 a day is because you get data a lot faster. So over the period of a couple of weeks, I can, iterate the split testing pretty fast. But you can, even at 10 quid a day, you'll still get some good data. It's only spend and hope if you don't know how to do Facebook ads. So what I would highly recommend is get into the WAP, or become a WAPper first of all. I mean, it's like if you break down the 30 quid a month, it's basically £1 a day to learn hundreds of hours of content, which is just cheap as chips. It's cheaper than freaking coffee. So in the WAP map, just double checking you can see my screen still. Yep. If you scroll down to the second level here, Facebook marketing, just do that Facebook marketing course, then it won't be spend and hope, because there's a lot of content here. I know it looks like there's only 6 videos, but there's a lot in there. So yeah, definitely do that. Actually, this is a really good example. I'm going to anonymously share a WhatsApp conversation I had yesterday. I'm going to omit the names, or the name of the person, because it's really it brings up proper learning points. Stand by. Come on. I just need to take a screenshot and then blur out the name, if that makes sense. Here we go. So, screenshot this. So here's the first screenshot. Make sure I'm blanking out everything. Yeah. Okay. Ready? So, first screenshot. This is a text message, and by the way, I get texts like this all the time, and it's frustrating, especially when I keep saying, just do the freaking WAP. It'll teach you, but hey ho. It's always your close friends that don't ever want to buy your product, or just can't be asked to do your product. So here's a question. This was yesterday. He said, dude, quick question. What's the most effective Facebook/Insta ad in your experience? Blanket ad covering a large area, or more pinpointed targeted audience? Also, Facebook or Insta? Which have you found better? And so I then said, annoyingly, every biz or niche works differently. But for you, you only want to serve ads in the Northwest, and I would initially target men and females between the age of 25 to 50 on Facebook and Insta. That's because I sort of know what his business is. Then analyze the data. You'll quickly see which demographic, placement, and platform is performing best. Facebook ads is basically like Edison and his 13,000 light bulbs. I generally make about 20 different ads to begin with, which split tests everything. Then after 50 conversions, when Facebook exits the learning phase and you have accurate data, you quickly turn off like 90% of the ads, so the ad spend is being directed through the best ad or two. So a quick example of that, very quick example. I think I turned off an advert today already with the WAP. So if we look into WAP campaign, so I only did 3 ads. No, I did more than that. Maybe I did 3. So here I did 3 ads in this ad set, and guess what? All the conversions were coming from these 2 adverts, whereas this one wasn't getting any ad spend or just anything. So Facebook evidently deemed that advert useless and just didn't bother putting any ad spend to it. So guess what? I just turned it off. So now all of the ad spend is going through to these 2. And then eventually we'll, after a bit of time, we'll see which one is best. So that's that. You'll need to split test gender, age, placement, platform, time of day, pic or video, headline, main text, call to action. Also do Facebook conversions, not CPC campaign. And then basically said, oh my God, didn't think you had to do it, all that, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So if you're like that person that doesn't know anything about Facebook, yeah, you're most likely going to waste money. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, Facebook ads doesn't work. Well, it freaking does. You just got to know what you're doing. And it's like, some people, I've heard people say, oh, flying a plane is not that hard. Like all you have to do to take off is go full throttle and pull the stick back. Well, technically, you could just go full throttle, wait till you get some speed, and then pull the stick back. Yeah, you'll leave the ground, but there's a lot more to flying than just full throttle, like slamming And then I've got like a VR headset, like a VR virtual reality flight sim here, and I really find I enjoy taking people flying in this. So I put them in the seat. The whole VR, I've got the full, seats, the pedals, the control column, the throttles and everything. And then I just give them a basic task of, right, go straight, basically maintain height, heading and speed. So maintaining a height, maintain the heading and maintain the speed. And just a very simple task like that, like most people cannot do it. And it takes probably half an hour just to fly straight and level. And that's just with flying. I mean, Facebook ads is the same. Any skill that has any form of complexity is the same. Awesome conversion rate. Thank you. Thanks, good night. Cool. Oh yeah, Mel, good to see you. I'm gutted we couldn't go skiing this year. Absolutely gutted. I'm itching to do a realistic trader skiing trip. Itching. Last time was so fun. So Mike says, I own a gym and we are in lockdown at the moment, so plan on blasting through... Yeah, so blasting info on the WAP. Yeah, nice one. So Mike, if you're like still in lockdown and a gym, I would start doing your pre-launch campaign now. Like, make sure the second your doors can open, you are flooded with, personal sessions and everything, so that your gym is absolutely heaving. So I would, run some sort of campaign like, hey, get like a 3-month membership for price of 1. I don't know, just to really, so day 1 when everyone comes into your gym, like, whoa, this is heaving, it's amazing. Mind you, half of the population will go, oh my God, it's heaving, I'm gonna run away and get my vax or whatever. So you can't win really. So right, I'm going to go before I really offend some people. Thanks, everyone. It's much appreciated. Hope today was helpful. And tomorrow I will be interviewing Habib Azam. So he's a lovely, lovely bloke who some of you may know. He's a trader. He became a trading student, back in 2015, 2016? Can't remember. And he's going places. He's done a lot in his time. So he's one of the few students that has basically gone, right, Siam, I'm just going to do exactly what you say. And yeah, his trading has done really well. And he's done really well with cryptos. He's getting into business. His business is doing really well. Like, yeah, I can't wait to interview him. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'll be interviewing Habib. And he's a lovely, lovely bloke. Right. Toodaloo. See you all soon. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. See ya. Bye.